Meister.
Episode 607.
Woo!
Welcome to the Brain Candy Podcast.
How are you?
How are you?
No, I asked you first.
Oh my God, jinx. Well, a lot going on over here. But I am grateful that we are moving into warmer temperatures.
Oh.
That is always good news for me because I am cold.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, like there's daffodils and stuff, which I love.
Oh.
I love
That's
those.
so cute.
Like Easter flowers. They're so pretty.
Yes.
And they are hopeful.
Yeah, there are little bunnies running around my neighborhood.
I mean, it's so cute.
It is adorable because it is different, like when you live in a cold climate. Because I noticed they weren't here and now they are here. And I like notice it. I'm like, hey, you guys weren't there before. But when I lived in like California, where I had like a backyard that backed up to like more like mountainy area, and there were bunnies all year long. All the time. So I never really had that, like, California, no seasons. But
maybe you'll appreciate them more.
I think so. I'm really excited to see. There are beautiful trees right out the window that I'm looking out right now. And they're all, like, about ready to bud. And so I feel like, it's like, I don't know what it feels exciting because I don't even know what I'm going to get. I have no idea what kind of trees these are, or what kind of flowers, or what kind of like.
That
I'm excited
was how
to
we
see.
felt whenever we moved here, and like you just want to see each season where you live now. Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
here
fun.
we go.
I'll be
Yes.
excited when you get your chair or whatever gets on that truck coming your way.
I am still fingers crossed. The moving truck is somewhere with my stuff because they haven't called me yet to tell
Still
me
on the road
where.
trip.
Question mark. But yes, I did want to share this because I told you I had really bad luck in Vegas, but my luck turned around. This may be an overshare, but like, who cares? Because like, what do I not talk about on this podcast? So
that's kind of your thing.
It's kind of my thing, right? Okay. So yesterday I was, maybe you caught my Instagram, like, what are they called? Story on Instagram, where I was being very lazy and didn't want to hang up all my clothes. So I was like putting clothes away and blah, blah, blah. And I was also trying on a bunch of clothes because like when you live in like Airbnbs and you've been like on the road, you like eat maybe a lot of hamburgers and things like that. So I was like, oh, well, these pants don't really fit anymore and blah, blah, blah. So I was trying on a bunch of different pants and we're totally fine. No big deal. And also everything's changing when you snowboard, like muscle, like I like to think maybe they don't fit because my legs are just bigger and stronger. So, so then I put on a pair, not even thinking, I'm like trying on clothes. I put on a pair of white pants. I happen to also be like, I'm like changing real fast. This is important for the story. Wasn't wearing any underwear. Then something happens, like, I don't know, I get a phone call, like I need to go like leave the house, like and pick up something and like, or, I'm like, realize what time it is. I'm like, oh gosh, I got to go. So I'm like in a pair of white pants.
Wow.
Now committed for the rest of the day, walking around like doing my chores, all that, like doing my errands.
Free balling
it.
Uh-huh.
Throwing caution to the wind. I get home after like 8 hours of being out. I get home. The second I get home, I go to the bathroom. Period started. If that isn't luck, that could have happened.
That would have been a real.
At any other point, never in my life do I just go out free balling it willy nilly like commando with nothing. I am not one of those people. I am not. And don't worry, they were like thick white pants. These are like not see-through. So that is not me. I like the protection and the like little security of a little.
I cannot imagine
shouties.
though being in such a hurry that you
it like slipped my mind. Like I tried on the pants and I was like, oh damn, my butt looks good in these. And then I think I had a session or something where I was like, oh my God, what time is it? And so I like put on my sweatshirt or whatever, put on my tops, and then like continued out the rest of the day, and then just like didn't think about it.
Wow, free
and then
spirit.
I went to the grocery store.
Oh my,
I went to the
this could have
bank.
been terrible.
I went to the Goodwill. I was all a lady about town.
I'm really glad that this worked out, though.
And I mean, 2 seconds later, that to me is like
your body knew.
Yeah, well, and I feel like the universe gave me some luck. Like, so I may be unlucky in Vegas, but I am so lucky because that if it would have, I was out, I would have not noticed. I would have and emergency.
Oh,
and
man.
I would have ruined my favorite white pants. And no chonies?
Like the time you were out running and then you had to go DIA.
Oh,
and
my God.
And you were like, Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, this would have been like...
That might be worse.
Way worse.
Yeah.
For like and these are like one of my new favorite pairs of pants. And they do fit. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
So that made me feel like my luck was turning
This
around.
is also TMI, so sorry to everyone that doesn't like any kind of talk about these things. But I often think about how, when I went on road rules, I was 18. I was so sheltered. I didn't know anything about anything. And I had never used a tampon.
Wow.
And you know how like so much of what we do on those shows is in the water.
Oh,
or, like,
my gosh.
You just don't want to be walking around with a freaking pad or panty liner. But that's all I knew because we were, it's like almost like tampons in fundamentalism
Take your
are kind
virginity?
of like, yeah, it's kind of like.
Can you explain that to me? I can't understand that.
I don't know because nobody ever said anything to me. It was just that we didn't have any in my house, But I assume they just think that that's meant for women who are sexually active because it's essentially the same mechanics.
Wow.
That's
meant for them. Like it's implied. Like
I figured I'd use one someday, but like only after I was married or whatever.
Oh my gosh! This is right in line with your mom thinking that she can't name you Susie because she can't have a nickname. Like
this is rooted in.
Well, yes, of course.
Yes, like conservative sexual ideals.
Yes.
But like, I really got lucky filming that we never had to do anything on a day. You know what I mean?
You mean you still didn't when you were on there?
Yes.
Okay, well, we're diving into this. So I'm going to need to know more about I would love to know more about your, like, who introduced you? How old were you? When did you lose your tampon virginity?
Yeah, when I was in LA, I was visiting Tim Beggy, and this was before we were dating. This was like just, we were friends, and I went to see him. And Piggy from my season came over, and we were all hanging out. And I told her that I had gotten my period and that I wanted to learn how to use a tampon. Wow. And so she had to take me in the bathroom and, like, teach me. And I'm 19 years old at this point, people.
Wow.
This isn't like a little girl. God bless her.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not shocked because I shouldn't say that. Like, I absolutely get that this is so many people's experience, but just like.
Well, but you were like on the water polo team. Like, can you imagine?
I remember. You know what my first introduction was? The freaking OB tampon with no applicator.
Absolutely. I used those for years. That was all I used.
My mom was like, just put that in there. I was like,
it does. It's fine.
It's fine.
But it hurts more than like one of the smooth ones with an applicator.
Oh, God. It all hurts. It's making me cringe now.
Like just the cotton rubbing up in there.
Golly. It is terrible.
Let's take a break and talk about something that's not terrible.
Please.
Which is Function of Beauty. Thank you to
this
them.
is the opposite of that.
Opposite.
Oh, my God. I love my hair.
I was going to tell people because I was using the leave-in I use the leave-in conditioner and then I use a serum after.
Yeah.
And it is top notch, like super great. I just wanted to encourage people to try it because you can get their whole hair care line and it's customized to whatever you need, like shampoo, conditioner, all that stuff. But also get that stuff, leave-in and serum. Good, good, good.
And say you like don't even care about your hair, but you just want a cute bathroom. You can get it customized to match with whatever color you want. I feel like that's like, we never talk about that because like that's, I don't know, like.
Superficial.
Yeah. Because I'm like, well, this stuff's amazing. But then I forget. Maybe I remember because now I'm somebody who's like decorating and in like a new house. And I'm like, ooh, this matches. And my shampoo and conditioner just so happen to be the same color as my bathroom. So there you go.
Yeah.
Remember that
you can pick whatever ingredients go in it to give you what you want, but also you could choose the fragrance, the color. You could go dye-free, whatever. Say goodbye to generic hair care for good today. Go to functionofbeauty.com/braincandy to take your hair goals quiz, and you'll save 25% off your first order. Go to functionofbeauty.com/braincandy to let them know you heard about it on our show and get 25% off your first order. That's functionofbeauty.com/braincandy. Take the hair quiz, save 25% on your first order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it, all that stuff. And, like, only after I finished filming was I like, boy, I really lucked out on the timing there.
You sure did.
I don't know what I would have done.
Oh, my gosh, that's so interesting.
I'm so sad, really.
It is. I mean, truthfully, it is sad. And it also is, like, I think really important. You know, I was thinking about the conversation you and I had about how Lincoln had his, like, what's happening to your body class.
Yes.
You know, and how we just need to teach, I don't know, the facts, real things to children.
Right. And
right?
Don't delay. Why are we waiting until they're, like, practically grown-ups?
Why are we waiting? Oh, I did see this cute thing on TikTok where mom's hand, it was kind of like saying, like, how clingy is your child? Hand them items and see what they, like, ask them, like, where does this go? What do you do with this? And see what they do with it.
Oh, no.
So they would hand them, and they would be like 2 years old. All of them knew exactly what to do with the tampon.
Oh, what did they say?
They would they don't say anything, but
put
they
it
like
in the bathroom or something?
No, they like gesture, like putting it like they just like the same way you'd like pretend to brush your hair, like they're playing house, and they take that and they go, oh yeah, like that, because they've been in there watching mom, you know, and they're like anybody with kids knows that they're going to go to the bathroom with you. So they're in there and they see mom. And so there is a point where when they're young, they know what those things are. And then we almost like shame it out of them.
Totally.
That's really sad.
That is so true. Yeah, then it becomes like very private and all about modesty and secrets.
Yep.
Essentially.
Yep.
I don't love it. I don't love it.
I don't love it either. Oh, okay. Let's learn some stuff. What do I have for you today?
Yes.
I read a really interesting article. My mom and I were having a conversation about how there are these terms that people throw around. She was talking about the term gaslight in particular, that people are like, oh, you're gaslighting. And they often lose their meaning, and people forget what those things even mean. Yeah. So you know how this always happens. I just so happened to be reading The Atlantic, and there was this article in there called "Are You Using Gaslight Correctly?" And so it talks about the origin, and I think we've talked about the origin of the term gaslighting on here, about how there's the play where I think the play is called Gaslight, and then there was a radio play called Angel Street, and it's about like a husband who's giving her the quote unquote gaslight treatment, where he's convincing her that she's crazy. Like he
was changing the luminescence of street lights
to make her feel crazy, hoping that she gets like institutionalized.
Right.
Yeah. And so he would like, then she like heard footsteps when he would leave the house. So she like put it together that, oh, he's like trying to do this to me, and, you know, figured it all out, and like he's messing with her and everything like that. But then it like got this resurgence, and now people are using it all the time. And the article was pointing out how there was an article that was done where people were criticizing, or the author was criticizing the, saying that people in the Black Lives Matter movement are gaslighting people. And the author in the Atlantic was like, hold up, that's not how that works. And it's this term that's just been like taken over. And it's something called, which I had never heard of before, but totally explains everything, called semantic bleaching. Have you heard of this term?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I hadn't either. So semantic bleaching is this thing that we do to words where we take them and use them over and over and over so much that, and in the wrong context, that the original definition is like totally lost. So people are taking over the word, and they're doing this now with a lot of words that are kind of more... like the word woke, for example, that used to mean like being aware and being, but now it's like being like in the know, and now it's like you're a leftist or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And so then it got me all interested in this semantic bleaching term, and so I found a super cool article on Merriam-Webster. They have, I swear, the funniest writing.
Yeah,
they're
they do.
so
they have a good Twitter
clever because the article is titled "Literally Everything You Need to Know About Semantic Bleaching,"
right?
Which is so clever because the most commonly used semantic bleaching word is literally.
Right.
It is so funny to me. So, I don't know. I just like, I had never really thought about like what my favorite word like this would be. It got me down the rabbit hole. But then when I started reading this article, there are so freaking many of these words that we do this for that we're like totally okay with.
I feel like people do it with the word trauma.
Oh my God, that's such a good one. See, I was like, let's play. What is our favorite semantic?
That is the one that makes me angry. Because I'm like, if everything's trauma, nothing is trauma.
This is correct. You know what I don't like either? OCD.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God,
common.
I'm so OCD.
Right.
That has been that semantic bleaching happening right there.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And so I think that it is just like cracks me up when I find out all of like the ones that we use that like another example is really.
Really?
Like you can say they.
As in very?
Because it's supposed to mean actually, like really, as in reality. So like you would say, oh, they really are twins. But you saying I had a really great time isn't using it correctly.
Okay.
But we've adapted that and we've just like okayed it.
So are they saying though that it's been diluted or it's like used incorrectly?
The reduction in the word's intensity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a linguistic phenomenon that happens when basically a group gets a hold of a word and uses it a whole bunch.
Yeah.
It just becomes like have a great day. You don't mean that the day is large and huge.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was awesome. You don't mean that it's like
that one bums me out. Because whenever you do want to say that it is awesome, then like as in awe-inspiring, people don't know that you're actually saying it. Because we say it all the time about just something cool.
Yeah. We need... Okay. So... do we learn to respect words more?
Oh, that's not going to happen.
Never in a million years.
But,
right. Well, we do
like
respect
collectively, no, that's not going to happen.
Or do we come up with better... this is why we come up with cool slang terms.
Yeah. And that's why they have to change definitions in Merriam-Webster, because the dictionary is a reflection of the way words are used, not a directive on how you need to use them.
So that's why, and I go back to gaslighting with this one, why it's so frustrating when that is done to words by the powers that, and the organizations or the systemic groups that we're trying to use those words against.
Oh, right.
So
like they co-opt them.
Yes, that is exactly what this article was highlighting, that that one of the things that's so important to, like, the word gaslight is a weapon that we need to fight back.
Right. But by them using it,
yes.
it just, right.
Yes. So we have to, like, recognize how the word is being used. And the author of this article, who is it? Let me see. Caleb Madison. Shout out to Caleb. There we go.
Shout out to Caleb.
Said a good rule of thumb in testing whether a word is being used correctly is to ask yourself if the supposed gaslighter is in a position of power. If not, it's difficult to imagine a situation where gaslighting is really happening. Just like it's difficult to imagine that Black Lives Matter activists who are dedicated to acting on people who are powerless and vulnerable engage in gaslighting the American public. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I thought that was so interesting.
One word I've always really loved is BetterHelp.
Oh, yeah. That's literally.
It is literally. And it can help you with your actual trauma.
Yes.
So, BetterHelp is a great option if you are interested in finding a therapist. It allows you to see the person from the comfort of your own home or wherever you may be. It is affordable, and you can try it online. Maybe it'll help you lower your stress or intimidation about the process of therapy, which can be a little bit scary to people if you've never gone. They have people that specialize in everything that ails you, but we all have stress, so I know you need that help with that. BetterHelp is offering you guys a deal. Brain Candy listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/braincandy. That's BetterHelp.com/braincandy. Customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. There you go.
Yes. I love BetterHelp.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What else did I read that was interesting? And also I want to put it out there. Just like we did, what is your favorite oxymoron? We got some really good answers with that.
Yes.
I want to hear what people's favorite semantically.
Yes, because everyone has like a different bugaboo.
Everyone. You know who used them all the time that and I think this is, I bet you can guess who I'm going to say.
Somebody that does it all the time?
Yes.
Oh, Wes.
Yes!
Yes.
Oh, my God. I mean, are we good or are we good? He's the first person I think of when I think of that.
Because he's the kind of person, he really wants to be perceived as an intellectual. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes that results in him misusing, and like his usage is often like just a tiny bit off.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when he talked about learning something through osmosis or something and I was like,
and he always used to say to you, we need to iterate on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
just like where it could be right, but you're like, wait a minute.
That's not really. Look, I'm getting all worked up. I
She's got cotton mouth.
I do.
Can't take it anymore.
Oh my God, I can't take it. But
I'm sure that there are things I say that would annoy other people. Like everybody has a different thing that's like gets under their skin.
Yeah. I mean, people tell me all the time. I say, you know what I stopped? I don't think I do anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot less. Mm-hmm.
That's good because it's one of those things where as soon as you guys pointed it out, I did it way more, and then it went away.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah. Also, like with that word, oh my God, I couldn't stop saying it a couple weeks ago. Is it actually?
You kept saying actually?
Well, yeah, it's whatever the little kid in the video. I was telling you that there was a little kid in the video, and I think apparently, that's it. Apparently, I swear.
That's fine. I welcome that.
Apparently, Counter was going off a few weeks ago. Oh, okay. What else do I have to share with you this week? Oh, I saw a cool article that talked about an invention that I think we will really like. And like the first time it was used successfully. So the first person in the United Kingdom has been convicted and jailed for domestic abuse after he was sprayed with this stuff called smart water. It's this forensic liquid that shows up under ultraviolet light. And it is really cool how it works. So the substance stays on your skin for up to 6 weeks. And on clothing for way longer. And, oh my God, it gives me goosebumps when I talk about this. Because I really do feel like this is going to help. I fucking hate that we have to do this, but
yeah, right.
It's so cool that they've invented this. Each bottle of smart water is, which also, question on the trademark of
proprietary.
Proprietary, right. I feel like it's smart. And then the smart is capitalized, and then water is capitalized, and it's one word. I don't know how they got around that, but maybe it's an English. Who knows? Or what if it were the same company? That would be crazy. But it's not. But okay, so each bottle of this smart water stuff is chemically, like, has distinct chemical properties. So basically, you can tell exactly which bottle it came from. So there can't be any guy being like, "Oh no, I was at somebody else's house who has that stuff," or
someone else threw it on me.
Somebody else did. No, they know the exact bottle it came from.
How is that possible? That's crazy.
Because I guess like different chemical markers. Mm-hmm. I love this,
and they check each bottle.
Yes, and it said, so it's basically forensically marking the person, and then when they do that, they can track the person back to the location where it happened, and they'll know if they find this substance, they'll know the perpetrator, and they'll know who the victim is, and it helps in so many crimes where people feel scared to come forward. They almost can do it anonymously because
so
it's
is the premise though that there's somebody that's trying to hurt you in some way, and then what? Would you just throw it on them, or what? Or do they drink it?
I think you spray it on whatever surface,
like mace.
Almost no. It's like you can put it on. You spray it on a surface like the door, and it stays. It dries, and then it stays there.
Get out.
And then if they touch it, it then transfers to their hands.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's so cool.
Now, let's give me a scenario when you would use this.
So they have the handheld canisters for spraying. I just looked this up. A gel that you can put on door handles and gates, and an automatic trap that sprays the liquid if somebody approaches the house. So here's a situation where you do this, where they specifically where they talked about it. Domestic violence situations.
Okay.
On average, it cost the police about, and this was in the United Kingdom, so it's in pounds. It cost them about £640 to respond to a domestic abuse incident.
Okay.
This kit only costs like $150. So if you were a woman who had a restraining order out against your partner because he was a domestic abuser, you can put the gel on your door handle. You can put the stuff on you can, set your house up to have this stuff on it, and you can prove that he was there.
Okay.
Because it's like his word against, and then he's violating that. It's
anybody else that comes to your door and uses the doorknob. It's not like they'll be walking around with a lit up hand, because they're not going to be under a freaking strobe light or whatever they're called.
Yes.
Okay.
And it said, so the article said most victims using the technology have told the police that they feel safer, and 94% of those who were surveyed across the 3 different forces that used it said that they would recommend it to others. That's pretty good.
What do you think the active ingredient in there is? Just like whatever's in those luminescent fish or something?
You know what? I bet it is some shit like that. Yeah. I bet you're right. And like that's probably the part of the article that is like I'm most excited about, and like they didn't even include that in there. I'm like,
right.
They're going to be like,
happening.
This is made from like the eyeballs of that mantis shrimp that you really love, Sarah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. This is exciting.
How this was like I said it's the first time it's been used and somebody's been tried for it, and the way the crime that he had committed was violating a restraining order. So this is the kind of things that you need in order to build the case, because domestic violence cases are often, hard to.
Well, and
tackle.
those guys are like, it's a predictor of all kinds of terrible things. Domestic violence. Like, they often end up being, the people that do mass shootings and other terrible crimes. I don't know why that is. I don't know why it seems like that's often how they start, but it seems to be the case.
It's because, I mean, relationships are so, I feel like you start with those around you, those closest to you. Like that anger, I almost see it like this, I don't know, like explosion where the people in close range are going to get hit first. Mm-hmm. And then as that anger grows and builds, so does the range of the explosion.
They have such entitlement. Like, they think they deserve, like, respect and all sorts of things. And then they get aggrieved when they don't get it. It's messed up.
It's cycles of abuse, man. How this was taught to people.
Mm-hmm. Like they observe it?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I you know what? That's actually something that I can't say I really know, and I'd be interested to know more about is
if it was modeled.
How not etymology. What is the word? There starts with an E. I can't remember what the word is, but for where something kind of starts.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, when I talk to criminals, like, I'm always trying to figure out causation. But it's impossible because human behavior is so complex. But
because it almost feels like I want to put it on both sides of the spectrum. Like I don't know. Like, it was modeled to you, or like the opposite, where you feel like that entitlement. That is kind of
right.
That it's interesting that you say that. Yeah. So, anyways, my mind is just going off on a little like, what does it all mean? Kind of.
I know
tangent.
This happens to me all the time, and then I have to stop myself.
Yes. You were asking what the stuff was made out of. It says, so Rachel Oakley, the director of Smartwater's intelligence unit, which sounds awesome,
that's funny.
says that there's no element of doubt when it comes to this kind of forensic marking, unlike other deterrents like CCTV, and that it's made up of a combination of rare elements that would never be found naturally anywhere else in the world. And which sounds really cool. Every bottle has a different amount of those particles within it, and each batch is unique, meaning we can tell categorically which batch of liquid is found.
Sounds like it's got to be expensive.
No, $150.
Oh, for a bottle. Okay.
Yeah, for like the whole kit.
Yeah, right.
So that's why they're saying like that this is such a good idea for not just like obvious reasons that it helps the victims and like makes them feel safe and, seems like a great idea, but also is really cost effective. That if it cost the police £640 to respond to a domestic violence situation, I think it's probably even more in the United States. Mm-hmm. Like, you think like a lot of those, they're bringing the fire trucks out and shit.
Right.
They come every time the cops are like
damn
in some
SWAT
situation.
Team.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's got to be expensive. And then so like it's not, I feel like their desire to go, people are probably like, "Oh, is this really worth our time to go?" I mean, that's got to be why they don't in so many situations where
well, and it's super dangerous for the authorities
Yes.
too. Yeah. Those ones are often problem.
If you just had this and they can grab it with their hands, and definitely invented by a female. It didn't say it specifically in the article, but probably.
Yeah, we can assume.
We can just assume. Yep, I liked that. Any kind of deterrent against.
Any way that you can help people with type 2 diabetes, and Pendulum has that going on.
Yes.
Because diet and exercise alone are often not enough to manage it. The best approach emphasizes diet, exercise, and a healthy gut microbiome. But that's true. I mean, healthy gut, I'm all for that, period. Type 2 diabetes or not, I'm just saying. But the connection has been widely recognized by leading scientists, and pendulum glucose control can be a great help to those who have type 2 diabetes. So if you know someone or that happens to be you, you might be interested. If you or someone you love has type 2 diabetes, take control of glucose levels with Pendulum Glucose Control. Use code BRAINCANDY at pendulumlife.com to get 20% off your first month of membership. That's pendulumlife.com. Promo code BRAINCANDY for 20% off your first month of membership.
Do you think if you were ever in a situation where somebody were attacking you, you would be able to get your mate? You know what? Maybe you would.
What?
That you'd be able to get mace out in time and like spray somebody in the face.
I wonder about that a lot.
I wonder about you because you sure did pop to action when Adam needed help.
That's true, Sarah. Now I know. Like I am like, I got an itchy trigger finger, evidently.
Oh my God. An itchy trigger finger. Do you carry around anything like that?
No. Just, I have the She's Birdie thing that has the alarm on it, but I've never had like mace or any kind of weaponry. Yeah. I probably shouldn't announce that. You know what, everybody? I am totally
fully armed. I am concealing and carrying.
Right.
I don't even know. Right. Is that how you say it?
I mean, I never did, but partially it's because of what you're saying. Like, how is it going to just be ready in that fast?
Zero chance.
Yeah, right?
I would ever be... That's somebody, I knew somebody who was like a martial arts instructor, and they said the majority of people don't know that they like, the only way for you to be prepared is to be in those situations and have experience in those situations. And if you've never had experience in those situations, you can't be prepared for it.
Well, at least people with martial arts training, like, they just use their bodies. So you always have it on you.
This is true.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I had a friend who was
totally ninjaing it up.
Me?
Go ahead, sorry. Yes.
I could too. Of like spraying somebody in the face and doing all that?
Yeah, and like doing one of those Chuck Norris kicks and stuff.
Okay, see, here's the thing. This is what I thought I was going to do.
Oh.
But as we all learned, I freeze.
When did we learn that, though, in terms of like, when did it ever happen that you needed to do this?
When the guy grabbed me when I was in Italy.
Oh, yeah, right.
And he tried to, like, pull me into his car. And I had to. I didn't escape.
Do you think maybe it was because of the language barrier? I know that sounds silly, but...
it was definitely not. He grabbed my ass.
No, I mean, do you think part of the reason you froze was because, like, you didn't feel like you could... I don't know. I always get weird when I can't communicate verbally. You know what?
No, because the first thing that I thought is you need to physically get away from him.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And I thought you need to physically get away from him, and then I proceeded to not do anything to make that happen. So my thought wasn't, hey, you need to yell at this guy, and
that'll solve it.
And and you just don't
need to
have
reason
the words.
with him.
Right. I knew what I needed to do was physically remove myself, and I couldn't do it. And I hit him, and I hit him like you would jokingly hit your grandmother if she told you a joke. Like,
like slapping wrists.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And then I was the most upset. I was more upset at my reaction.
I know what
or
you're
lack
saying.
thereof.
Yeah.
Than I was at the situation itself.
That is a terrible feeling.
Feelings about the feelings, metacognitions, they're the fucking worst.
I don't love it.
Yeah. I hate them. This is where we have to ask ourselves why. What does that mean? What are our beliefs? What are the expectations? And that kind of expectation versus reality of what happened, and if that is a too like there isn't enough room for human behavior in your expectation. You know, if it's unrealistic, that's the word. Hello, where's my brain? If it's unrealistic expectation, then you have to push back on that. Like, it took me talking to a therapist and, like, you know, talking out loud on this podcast about how it is reasonable that somebody who was sexually assaulted or abused when they were a child would respond in a very childlike way when they were in a situation that brought them to that same mental place.
So when you slapped
what a downer, Sarah.
No, it's not, because I know everyone has had the experience at least where they think, I wish I would have done that differently. I wish I would have told that person to go to hell, or I wish I would have punched his lights out, whatever.
Right.
But when you slapped his wrist,
Oh my God. I slapped his shoulder. It was even worse.
Shoulder.
It was like,
and then that was effective though.
No, it wasn't. That's when he
then what
grabbed
happened?
my arm and pulled me. And then a woman who was in a tobacco shop ran out and grabbed my other arm and pulled me in the other direction.
This is crazier than I remember.
Yeah.
Holy heck.
It sucked.
Do you think he just wanted to bang?
He thought I was a prostitute.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's right.
I was in an area that was, when I drove through that same area at night, I was like, oh yeah, I would have thought I was a prostitute.
He thought you were a lady of the night.
That is and in Italy, women who are heavily tattooed that's what the prostitutes look like.
Okay.
That's like their calling card. That's like their, like, hey, look at me. So, like,
it's like the red light.
I look like a regular old lady of the night in good old Italia.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right. I'm like an expensive one.
Right. High class. Come on.
Like real high class. Like,
oh my God. And then when did you cry? Like, how long did it take?
Is that funny? Because, like, I cried.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering, was it immediate or did it take a long time?
I cried as soon as she pulled me into the shop. And she looked at me and she was like, are you okay?
Safe.
And she I knew I was safe because I was, like, stunned before that. And when I knew then I started crying, and there was still a language barrier, but there were some other guys in there, and she was telling the guys what happened. And then they, like, kind of poked their head out, and the guy had already taken off in his car. And then I remember, she called me a cab because I didn't know where I was. And that was the whole problem, is that oh my God, I remember, I was looking around like I was lost, and he was.
Because you were.
Because I was. And I was breaking my number one rule in another country: always know where you're going and walk with a purpose.
Yeah.
Technically, those are two rules, but they're kind of like in one. Mm-hmm. That is so important. I was not doing any of that because I just got in a fight with my ex-husband, and I was, like, trying to prove a point of, like,
I don't need
know.
you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was not a good thing to do. And I got a little lesson back,
live and learn, though. I mean,
yeah.
Well, because that's what you would say to me, like, well, nothing bad happened, and now you know for next time.
You're right. Yeah, I do. And I'm never going to put myself in a situation like that. And it was so unwise of me. And it could have gone way worse. And I'm very grateful that people were there and that they were, And I'm like, I didn't even know where to tell the taxi cab I was going. Like,
oh my God, I can't believe you got home.
I was like, that boat over there. I can't either, Susie. There are a few times where I'm like, Jesus Christ almighty, how did I survive this whole thing that we call
life.
Life.
Well, that's the thing.
I know.
It's a shame we even have to have all these like systems for. We got to look like we know where we're going.
No, that's what I'm fucking saying, man.
Neon water. Come on.
Mace that we're never going to use. Kitty claw claws that you hold in your hand, and I will say when I hold my
remember when we
keys.
talked on the show about that device that women in Africa, I think it's in Africa, use? They like put it in their vagina, and it's like a rape. Rape preventer.
What?
It's
That's
like
making
claws
me
their
cringe.
penis.
Like, don't put that on Inside Out.
Women. Okay, it says women take drastic measures to prevent rape in South Africa. Some, like they put things in their private parts, like a medieval device to fight rape.
Well, could you imagine that you have to go that far?
It's a condom with teeth.
Oh, you know what? Fucking yeah, that's what they get. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I have so many fantasies about what I would do in these situations, and then I'm telling you, in actuality, it's nothing. So,
I know, it sucks.
That it's just, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm just saying that if you've had those feelings, you are not alone.
Yeah, man.
And that even people who have practiced it, but that's why you do have to do things like, oh, God, I hate that. What? It's so not fair. Now I'm mad. Last week it was gremlin or goblin mode. This week it's self-defense.
Self-defense.
What is Sarah angry at the patriarchy for this week? This week, the fact that we need self-defense. That's what I'm mad at this week.
It's the worst.
Like, come on. I don't know. Anyways. Do I have time for one more? Yes, I do. I have read an article, but tell me what you think about this. Because I do have a question at the end that I want to pose. But I feel like this was maybe an obvious one. So there was a study that was done in, I believe, the University of Singapore and the University of Queensland. And it was on nature and genetics. And they discovered that there is a genetic component to loving nature.
You mean some people are more prone to it?
Correct.
Okay.
That they feel more connected and have a appreciation of nature.
Yeah.
And this is genetic.
That makes sense to me. You feel like this is bogus?
No, I feel like it makes sense, but I feel like we didn't need a study to tell me that.
That's true of a lot of studies.
Right. Like, but then also I mean, and this was classic. This was like part of the, there's a huge study. I think it's the most detailed study about twins ever that's called Twins UK. And it is, they looked at 1,000 sets of twins, and which to me is like a lot, but is it like a lot? For like most, except like you couldn't find like 2,000 twins to ask a survey to. Like, I don't know. That they found that genetic, or obviously genetic, but identical twins who share all their genes were more similar than fraternal twins who shared around half their genes in their appreciation for nature. And so they asked them, there were two traits. It was like how strongly a person feels connected to nature and the amount of time they spent in nature. And it seems like the ones who were just fraternal twins were, one of them was like, meh, it's okay. And the other one was like, oh, I love it. And then the identical twins were like, oh no, we love it. And they both love it. But,
okay.
Yeah.
I wonder what
to be
part of the brain it is. Like when...
Oh, what
is
a good
the gene,
question. You know? I mean, they did say that the professor, his name is Richard Fuller, who was the head of the study, said that they were truly impressed by what they found, that the genetic influence was present in between 34% for frequency of like garden visits and 48% for public nature visits, they say.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess like they frequent those places more. But to me, like, why were they truly surprised? What is truly surprised? They've semantically bleached the word truly in this sentence is what this just happened.
Why? Because you feel like they shouldn't be surprised?
Truly? I don't know.
Yeah, calm down.
Calm down.
This is why, see, curb your enthusiasm. Just tone it down.
Yeah.
Whenever they interview Larry about the show, like when he's promoting it, and they're like, "Are you excited about the new season?" He's like, "Eh." I mean, the name of the show should have the answer for them. He's not into enthusiasm. That's the whole
I never
point.
really think about what the name is. That's so good.
Like, calm down.
Oh. Yeah, it's like, meh. He kind of feels more like the fraternal twins.
Yeah, well, what did they feel like? I wonder why it was surprising. Like, did they think it was just that?
I think they thought because this was my thought, that it would be hard to tease that out because, like, if you grew up, because of the nature versus, like, what you see. Like, to me, it seems still difficult. Like, there are so many factors that influence whether or not you like the outdoors. And I don't think that a person's, if you were to ask little kid me if I like the outdoors, I bet little kid me would say no.
Really?
Yeah, my mom is shocked that I am the crazy plant lady that I am.
That's
because
really
that
crazy.
I love gardening, and like I touch dirt almost every day, which is like a weird thing to say, but it's true. Like I think it's like a weird statement. Like put that on a shirt. I touch dirt every day. It's, I don't know, weird.
I laughed so hard at your Insta story when you were saying how they mistook you for an employee at the plant center, and then you were like chalking it up to your overalls and your like bandana, which I got, but then like at the very end, you like barely snuck it in that. Oh, and I was pruning the plants, like you were actually tending to the garden. Of course, they thought you worked there. Blaming your overalls.
I wasn't like I was just inspecting the plants that I was picking out. I was picking out a plant for a friend who just moved into a new house. So I was like picking out her plant, and as I was doing it, I was picking all the dead leaves off of the surrounding. Okay, I was pruning the plants.
And like you just barely said it, and then the video was over, and I was just like, "That's hilarious." She tried to blame it on her overalls.
I did. I tried to blame it on them. But I did want to ask. So I did want to ask a question about. Like I was thinking about, and maybe this was like I had some weed edibles, and some of Susie's sleepy time gummies, and maybe I was just thinking this. So, if it is in fact a genetic component, if there is a genetic component to your love for the outdoors, then we can probably see that there's some like evolutionary advantage to enjoying the outdoors before. But could it be that if we move to being an indoor, which we already are, we're like, didn't we have something you said? I heard once we had like the first indoor generation a little while ago, where like something about more people lived indoors than. And we're just like an indoor society.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That could not having that nature gene be a genetic advantage.
Right.
Because we feel more comfortable in indoor spaces.
I bet. Yeah.
I was thinking, yes. So,
that makes sense. I think you're onto something.
Right? And I was having this thought when I was living in my basement apartment.
Right.
Where I was honestly feeling like I was going insane. Like I was like, this is not good for my mental health.
Yeah,
I had to leave.
Wilting.
I was totally wilting. And I was like, so I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, if we end up in some crazy post-apocalyptic civilization where we have to live underground, your girl is fucked.
Yeah, you're not going to do well.
I'm not going to do well. My genetic line will definitely die off because we're going to be depressed and sad and definitely not banging. But
this sounds crazy, but you know how on the challenge within the last few years, they've really leaned into that ridiculous like Mission Impossible theme?
Yes, correct.
And the houses are pretty much windowless.
Yes.
And how much more depressing it seems to me and joyless.
Yep.
Compared to like for many years it was more
we hung out on tropical islands.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a vacation look.
Yeah.
And
oh my God, that is so crazy. I feel like you can match it with Nerf guns. And as the Nerf guns get more like automatic weapons and darker and more terrible, so does the depressing nature of the challenge.
Right.
And somehow the lighting in movies these days as well.
Really?
Don't you feel like watch superhero movies?
Oh, I won't
You
ever
can't
do that.
because it's so dark.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what that's about.
Like I saw something online where it had the different Spider-Man movies over the past however long, the one with Tobey Maguire and one now, and they just took screenshots of it, and it's like, look at how much
I wonder why.
Go back
what
to
do
a
you
time
think
there
that's
was
about?
Because they're making them more gritty and I don't know. There's something like I have no clue.
It's depressing.
It is depressing. So that's
Why
what
are
I
we in a
wonder.
bad
Does
mood
it mark?
today?
I don't know. I got nothing. I tried to really start off on a positive note with my I
With your
didn't
tampons?
have an accident story.
Oh, yeah, you were like, my luck has changed.
Yeah, it was really positive. But
All right, that's true. You tried.
I tried. What can I do? It's
Well,
tough
we
times
better
over
wind
here.
it down. We can't sit in this, we can't wallow.
No, we can't. There are things to be excited for.
Yeah,
like
for
how
example.
there's spray that can now catch domestic abusers.
Yeah, and I now know how to use a tampon.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yes.
Things are looking up, you guys.
They really are. See, look at that. It's not that bad after all. What else did we learn? We learned about semantic bleaching and I posed the question, what is your favorite word that is misused and has been watered down or...
I want to hear their answers, but then I'm going to be mad and be like, yeah, I hate that.
That's what I felt when I read this article where I was like, oh my God, that's literally the worst one.
Well, at least they make condoms with teeth now to protect against men.
And what else did we talk about?
I mean,
And loving nature is genetic.
Yeah.
So get on out there and hug a tree.
Or prune the plants at your local nursery.
Yes.
Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe. It means so much.
Yeah.
And
join our book club or something. We would love to
do
have
that.
you.
Do that.
Yeah,
We'll
we
see you
got good
next
ones
time.
this month. Bye.
Bye.